Moment of truth. I'm going to run via the CLine IDE and see if I still get an error. Okay, so it actually ran, but we'll still see if we get the same problem. But it did actually work, so we'll see if the safe remove actually does anything, though, because it just means that the code still compiles, but really, I wasn't expecting it not to anyway. When I added the safe remove header file, and then obviously updated my compile commands to include that header file, I wasn't expecting the code not to run because, as I can show you, there's not a whole lot of difference right now between my code, the remove method. This is the one I had previously the entire time, where it was calling the remove method and then passing that immediately inside without assigning it to a variable. I was just immediately passing it into the erase method, so I was still removing followed by erasing. The safe remove is obviously doing it a little better because it's removing here down on this line of code, line 41, and then it's checking if it's not the end, then it's erasing. So it's only erasing if this condition is true, so that's something I didn't have. And it's also doing an early escape if object that got passed in is null. So this is a little safer, hence the name, safe remove. And it also does prevents dangling pointers and frees up the memory that if any memory was dynamically allocated rather. So this is definitely a better method, but I wasn't expecting it not to compile, so I was a little thrown off there, but then on closer inspection, realized that it was just an issue with the file I/O because I was using the terminal at that point as opposed to running through the IDE. But anyway, here's the issue. I'm just going to go east. I don't want to do any riddles. I'm going to go south down the rabbit hole. Do I want to hear a riddle? No, not today. Normally I would, but not today. Oh, I got to enter a proper response. Nah, don't want to do a riddle. Then I'm going to go, I think, west at this point. Do I want to hear a riddle? No. And now I want to look around. I think I'm in the Great Hall. Yeah, so I'm in the Great Hall. Items in the location are table, a key, a curtain, a door, and a cake. I want to try to open the door. So I want to open the door. Door is locked. Okay, I'm going to take the key. Spell key properly. Key is taken. Now I'm going to try to open the door. Open the door. The door is locked, and you don't have the key. So basically, I automatically lose the key. So if I look in my inventory, it shows that I have a key, so that might be a problem right here. Because I'm outputting that I don't have a key anymore, but I actually haven't removed the key. But I'm not going to worry about that yet, because I haven't really looked at this code fully yet, because I've been dealing with everything else. So let's just, it's there right now. I originally think I'm supposed to remove that key from my inventory automatically when I open the door. Or maybe that's not until I eat something. Let's see. If I look, the key is no longer in the location, so it is just with me. Anyway, I'm going to eat cake because I'm going to try to... I think I open the door. Let me see. Open the door. Maybe this is where I lose the key. Did I already click open the door? So the door is locked and you don't have the key. Okay. If I look in my inventory, I still do have the key. So now I've just got a whole separate issue because the key's not back there. But anyway, what was happening was when I ate the cake, because I wanted to eat the cake to get bigger, to get the key again, it was throwing an issue. After eating the cake, you grow 9 feet tall. Okay. No issues here then. Okay. Well, I don't want to be 9 feet tall. If I open door, it probably... Yeah, so now it throws an error. So I went to open door, and it's throwing an error. And this is the error. It's a stood length error. So I'm getting a length error. Throwing an instance of this, basic string, blah, blah, blah. So whatever the error is, not sure. When I went to open the door after, I don't know, making a different size, I'm not sure. Let's try to run it again and see if we can recreate the error in some way. East, no. South, no. West, no. Look. There's a key. Again, if I try to open the door, because there's a door there, open the door without the key. Door is locked. You don't have the key. Okay. Let's take key. Key's taken. If I drop the key, and if I look now, the key is not in the location it's with me. Whereas if I look in my inventory, the key is with me. Now, if I drop the key, you don't have a key. So there's something going on with the key. And I think it's because I automatically remove it from myself. Well, let's just take a look back at the debug code. That's why I put it in here. So drop the key. When I first take the key, what happens? So when I first look, oh no, key taken right here. So when I first take the key, I pressed in take key. I get a lot of inefficiencies here too, I think, with remaking my stuff over and over, but I'll look at that after. When I take the key, a lot of stuff happens. And it ultimately says key taken. Because I did a transfer item call. I called a transfer item, passing in the item, which is the key, and I transferred it from the list, which was the game object list, and that would have been the location, to my list, to the list, which would have been the player's inventory. So the key's taken. Then I look, and as we can see, the key is after I look, the key is no longer as the items in the location. Then I check my inventory, and the key is there. I have a small key. But when I go to drop the key, it's telling me I don't have the key. So obviously I do some call that removes the key automatically. And I do remember doing something like that because the whole point is I wanted to follow the book, whereas she gets the key off the table, she opens the door, can't get through the door because she's so big, so she drinks a potion to get small, and then but the door is re-locked and she doesn't have the key anymore. So I think I wanted to remove it from her after she took it and used it. I wanted to automatically go back, but it was supposed to go back to the room to grab again. And I had to eat the cake to do it. So I would have to eat the cake to get big. After eating the cake, I'm 9 feet tall. Therefore, I should be able to grab the key. But if the key is not there, which doesn't appear to be, then it's of no value. And at this point, if I tried to open the door, last time it threw an error, so I'm not going to do it right now. But I'm going to drink the bottle. And hopefully that shrinks me. After drinking the contents of the bottle, you shrink down to 18 inches. Now I'm the right size again. And I'm going to look in my inventory. Do I have the key? I have a key. So if I'm going to open the door, and it just throws an error either way. So I'm getting some sort of error when I call open the door with or without the key. It's causing issues. So I'm going to have to look at that, but I just wanted to document so far what's going on. When I go to open the door now, I'm getting an error. So I'll have to go look at that code, possibly throw in some debug statements or go through the debugger and see what we got going on. Let's just quickly pull up while we're all still online together. And let's look at open door. So, the open door method, we call open door here. Here's the open door method. So the open door method obviously has an offending line of code, and I didn't see this when I called it, but I've got the same sort of line of code that originally seemed to cause all these issues, which is one of these dynamic cast codes to an item. So what am I doing here? I'm going player.getGameObjects, which we know returns a pointer to a GameObject list. I'm dereferencing it and then calling the thisGameObject method on it, which we've had a lot of trouble in this GameObject method, passing in key, and then I'm doing a dynamic cast to an item pointer. And I'm checking to verify that's not equal to null pointer. And if it is in fact not equal to null pointer, meaning it actually points somewhere, then I'm going to, meaning there's a key, I'm pointing to a key, then I'm going to set this Boolean has key to true. Otherwise, it would be false. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I bet you that's causing a lot of the issues here. Or again, it's in the game object, I guess. It's still in this game object method. So that's just more code. We'll have to figure out more issues. But yes, obviously I still get back to the describe game objects method, which is where this method is, is happening. Get game objects, then this game object. Yeah, I think. Let's see. Yeah, I call the open door method in process verb. I'm in this location. I take an item, or I call the get game objects method, and then I describe game objects, and I'm using that for loop in the describe game objects method, going through the for loop, iterating through all the objects, which again, I need to work this out because I'm not sure why I'm describing them at this point. It's just I haven't had time to do any of these proper fixes because I'm trying to fix, at least get the code running. And we'll have to reboot efficiency after. But in the for loop, obviously after the cake, I'm throwing some issue because this object, this address is no longer there, which presumably was where the key was. If I look up, let's see what objects I'm printing out. I'm printing out a table, a curtain, a door, a bottle, and a cake. And presumably the key was after this. And I took the key, but it never got removed properly, and that's obviously what's causing the problem. So if I go right back to the start, when I first came in here, and printed out what was in the room, all this stuff. So yeah, when I first came in here, and did a look, yeah, I gotta really look at this stuff. So I took the key without looking the first time, I guess. So I just take key because I don't think I looked. Or did I look? No, I didn't. Oh, I did right here. Either way, these were the items at first. Table, key, curtain, door, bottle, cake. Because I removed key, everything would have got shifted up because that's how the remove method works. It would have pushed this to the end, and now the elements in the vector would have been, table would have been element 0, curtain would have been 1, door 2, bottle 3, and cake 4. But I guess I didn't delete or null out the last element properly. I'm still not doing it somehow. In which case, then I'm trying to access it. So and we could verify that without looking at all of the code that I'm going to ultimately have to do to fix it and figure out why things aren't erasing properly. I could put in a method that, I could do a quick check and say if the description matches cake, stop, just so that we don't access beyond that. I'm not going to, but obviously we're having still an issue where I'm trying to access an element that's no longer there. Why? Because in this method I'm using a for each loop. Where was I? So in this method that keeps causing the issues, which is which is up here. I use no, it's not here. Yeah, so I'm in both the describe method and that I use a for each loop, which will iterate through the entire vector. So even if the element is garbage, if it hasn't been actually removed and erased off of the vector, it's still there. I'm going to access it. It's just going to be garbage value. So, I might not have got this if I somehow was keeping track of a counter and using a traditional for loop, keeping track of a counter and decrementing a counter as a removed element. Maybe that'd be a cheap and dirty way to get around this. Not a good way, so not the way we're going to do it, but I'm just thinking out loud here. But, yeah, that seems to be the issue. So I'm not sure fully what's happening. I'm going to have to really look at where I'm removing things, because even with the safe remove now, where is game object? With the safe remove, which I'm trying to wonder where my remove method is. Game object list, perhaps. Yeah, even with my remove method, with the safe remove, it still not seeming to work out. Even though before I thought I was safely removing by calling the remove method, passing it into erase, but again, I wasn't doing any checks to verify it was null. But I am now with the safe remove. And I'm still getting the issue, so I'm still not sure what's going on. Anyway, I'll look into that. We'll get back. Let's just try to cause one more issue where we... Now, you know what? I'm going to fix this out and I'll be back.